to each one of my viewers in this channel, Holistic Health with Dr. Dev. Now, today, this is going to be a very, very important session because I will be discussing and chanting from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, one of the foundational chapters. Why foundational? Because this chapter talks about the three qualities or the gunas of the nature of anything that exists in this material world. For example, our mind. So, what are the three gunas, the qualities that cloud, that dominate an entity, any product, anything that exists? For example, our mind, I said, right? So what are the three qualities? What are the expression of the qualities when that particular quality gets dominant? All of these discussions will be made in this particular session, because the name of this session or this chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ. Guna is the quality, Traya means three, Vibhag means separation, the discrimination, classification, yoga. Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ. Chapter 14 of the 18 chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Just a quick recap for those who are not so much familiar about this authoritative text on the science of yoga. Srimad Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. In total, there are 700 shlokas or verses. And in this particular chapter, which is chapter 14, there are 27 verses. Now, before we go and dive deep into the chanting aspect of it, I want to mention a little bit about the meter in which the Srimad Bhagavad Gita verses are chanted. In this particular chapter, all these 24, all these 27 verses are chanted in Anushtup meter. 8 syllables times 4, 32 syllables for each verse. I chanted in the previous chapters of 15, 16, 17. I chanted few shlokas in one of these chapters where the meter was not Anushtup. Well, for some of the verses, right? For I think in chapter 15 or 16, I think, or 17, there were five shlokas, five verses, which were not in Anushtup meter. But in this chapter, chapter 14, all the verses will be in Anushtup meter. So today, I would really like to invite you all to stay present throughout the whole session, because this particular session talks about the three gunas. Let me mention the name of the gunas, the qualities that dominate anything that exists in this material world. For example, our mind. These three gunas are Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. See, I don't need to dive deep right now into Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, because these three gunas you will listen about from Sri Bhagavan himself. So I just want to mention Sattva Guna is the divine quality, which is the quality of harmony, balance, which is the quality of stability, equilibrium, the quality of divine characteristics, which is peace, which brings joy, happiness, Sattva Guna. What is Rajas? Rajas Guna, this corresponds to aggression, passion, and when it gets aggravated or very high, it becomes Guna of anger, lust, Guna of envy, jealousy, that is Rajas. You can think of the color red. It corresponds to Rajas Guna. Sattva Guna, you can think of the color white, signifies purity. What is the last Guna? The last Guna is the Tamas. Tamas represents stillness, dullness, sluggishness, rest, and repose. You can think of the color black. It indicates rest, repose. When it gets aggravated to a point when it is disbalanced, then the tamas can indicate laziness, lethargy, and all of that. Okay? So, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. These are the three gunas that will be discussed in this particular chapter. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for all of you to be with me in this journey of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ. Now, as you know, before I begin any chapter, I usually do a short breathing exercise and also three Omkar chants. Okay, so we will begin the chapter with similar exercise and Omkar chant 3 times, and then we dive straight into the chanting aspect of it. So, wherever you are, I would invite all of you to have a comfortably seated position, or if you are sitting on a chair, then make sure your feet are planted on the ground. Okay, your spine is vertical, your head, neck, and your spinal column are erect in one vertical line, and you bring your attention to your breathing. Okay, because the chanting, it requires some sort of breathing control, pranayama. So it's a short pranayama. The focus is not pranayama, but chanting does require pranayama a little bit. So wherever you are, bring your palms like this facing the ceiling. Your palms are facing the ceiling, and you can put it on top of your thighs or at the center of your lap, right palm over the left, both facing the ceiling. Normal breathing. No need to change as yet. Just get yourself gathered in your thoughts, wherever you are. Bring it to the present moment. We will be discussing and chanting Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ, chapter 14 of the root text on the science of yoga, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now, slowly transition to deep inhalation and deep exhalation. Inhale, deep, long, smooth inhale, belly goes out, all the way up. Bring your inhalation from the nabhi to all the way to the crown of the head. Pause at the peak. Exhale, deep, long, smooth exhale. Belly comes towards the spine, so the belly is contracting. Again, inhaling all the way up, deep, long, smooth inhale, belly goes out. Pause at the peak of your inhale. And exhale, belly comes towards the spine. Last time, inhale, deep, long, smooth. All the way up. Pause at the peak. Exhale, draw the belly towards the spine. Okay, now in the next 3 exhalations, we will do 3 Omkar chant. Inhale, all the way up. Pause. Exhale the sound. One more time, 2 more times. Inhale, deep, long, smooth. All the way up. Draw your inhale up. Exhale. One more time. Inhale all the way up. Draw your inhalation, belly goes out. Exhale the sound. Wonderful. Now we dive deep into the chapter. Like the other chapters, I will mention a brief overview of the chapter. What are the verses about? So, in the verses 1 to 4, talk about the introduction. 1 and 2 particularly talk about praise of our self knowledge. हमारे आत्मा ज्ञान का प्रशंसा करते हुए भगवान बोलते हैं. Then verses 3 and 4 talk about the brief account of creation. ये जो सृष्टि है, सृष्टि के बारे में थोड़ा सा brief account of this creation. Then verses 5 to 18 talk about the detailed analysis of the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. For example, verses 5 to 8, enunciation of three gunas and their features. तीनों गुण जो है सत्व रजस तमस, उनका क्या वैशिष्ट्य है, उनका नेचर क्या है. What are the natures of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas? Verses 9 and 10, interaction and predominance of one guna over the others. What happens when one guna, one quality dominates over the other? Verses 11 to 13 talk about further details of the three gunas. और भी डिटेल में जाके तीन गुणा के बारे में बात करते हैं भगवान. Verses 14 and 15, predominance of gunas at the death time, determining the next birth. Very important. कौन सा गुण का आधिक्य होता है मरने के समय, जो डिसाइड करता है अगले जन्म क्या होगा. Predominance of gunas at the death time, determining the next birth. 16 to 18, results of cultivating these three gunas. ये जो तीन गुणा है, इसको कल्टीवेट करने से क्या क्या फल मिलता है? What are the results of cultivating these three gunas? Moving on to the third part of the chapter, verses 19 and 20. The 19 talks, these 19 and 20 talk about knowledge as means to transcend the guna. ये तीन गुणा का पर में जाने का क्या रास्ता है? What is the way out to not get bound by the three gunas? Because as long as we are bound by any one or more of these gunas, we are stuck in this cycle of this samsara, right? What are the way, if at all, to get out of this cycle of the three gunas? Verse number 19 talk about stepwise process of knowledge as means to rise above the three gunas. तीन गुण का पार में जाने का रास्ता क्या है? Verse number 20 talk about realizing one's immortal nature through this knowledge. ये जो ज्ञान है, गुणा का जो ज्ञान है, सत्व रज और तमोगुण का जो ज्ञान है, उसके जरिए कैसे एक इंसान अपना जो अनंत जो नेचर है, जो आत्मा का जो नेचर है, उसको कैसे जान सके. हाउ वन कैन अंडरस्टैंड द इमॉर्टल नेचर, जो अमर नेचर है, प्रकृति है, अपने आप का, खुद का रियल अस्तित्व जो है, उसको कैसे जान सके. वर्स नंबर 20. Verse number 21 to 27 talk about traits of a Guṇātita and means to achieve that state. मैंने बताया, I told you how to get beyond the bondage of the three gunas. What are the means? Because as we know, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a handbook of our daily life. Means it just not only talks about mere theory, it talks about the solutions based on the practical world. So how to get ourselves shielded from the effects of the three gunas. Okay, so these are the so I will tell in details about verses 21 to 27. Verse number 21 talk about Arjuna asks question to Krishna about a Guṇātita. Guṇātita कौन होता है, उसका क्या characteristics है जो तीन गुण का पार हो गए हैं. How do they look like? What are their characteristics? Verses 22 to 25, features of a Guṇātita who is identifying with Purusha. Verse number 26 talk about insistence on bhakti as a sadhana to achieve this gunatita state. How by sheer devotion one can attain this state of gunatita. Means atit means beyond, one who is beyond the effects of these three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And the very last, verse 27, talk about the nature of the Brahman, the pure consciousness. So this is how the chapter is constructed. With that, shall we get into the chanting and discourse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14? If you are ready, let's dive deep. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Chaturdashodhyayah Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ. Now begins chapter 14, named Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ. The classification of three qualities of any material things existing, including our mind: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param bhuyah pravakshyami jnananan jnanamuttamam yajñātvā munayas sarve param siddhimito gatāh. The blessed Lord said, "Again I shall tell thee that supreme knowledge which is above all the knowledge, having known which all the munis, the sages, have attained to high perfection after this life." Verse number 2. Idan jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. They who, having devoted themselves to this knowledge, have attained to my being, are neither born at the time of creation, nor are they troubled at the time of dissolution. Usko janam maran se kuch nahi aana jana. They are all shielded, protected. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbhan dadhamyaham sambhavas sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. I forgot to chant each verse twice, so let me chant the verses 1, 2, and 3 again one more time. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param bhuyah pravakshyami jnananan jnanamuttamam yajñātvā munayas sarve param siddhimito gatāh. Idan jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. Then we did the verse 3. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbhan dadhamyaham sambhavas sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Verse number 3, what does it mean? My womb is the great Prakriti, means the nature which characterizes each and everything that exists in this material world, comes from the womb of Sri Bhagavan. In that I place the germ. From thence, O descendant of Bharata, means Arjuna, is the birth of all beings. That's how all the beings are born. Okay? Moving forward, verse number 4. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtayas sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonihi aham bija pradaf pita. सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः aham बीजप्रदः पिता. That was verse number 4, meaning whatever forms are produced, O son of Kunti, addressing to Arjuna, in all the wombs, the great Prakriti is their womb, and I, the seed giving father. Sattvam rajastama iti gunaः prakriti sambhavaः nibadhnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Sattvam rajastama iti gunaः prakriti sambhavaः nibadhnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These gunas, O mighty armed Arjuna, born of Prakriti, bind fast in the body the indestructible embodied one. Bind fast in the body the indestructible embodied one. Whichever the soul, the Atman, whichever is inside the body, the Prakriti binds the body. It cannot touch the soul, of course, the body and the mind. That's what Bhagavan is saying here in verse 5. Moving on, verse 6. Tatra sattvan nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukha sangena badhnāti jnana sangena chānagha. Tatra sattvan nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukha sangena badhnāti jnana sangena chānagha. Verse number 6, what does it mean? Of this sattva, because of its stainlessness, means जिसके पास कोई कालिमा नहीं है, जिसका ऊपर कोई कालिमा नहीं है, एकदम white paper जैसा, just like a white paper, luminous and free from evil, binds, O sinless one, by attachment to happiness and by attachment to knowledge. जिसको जिसको ज्ञान का पिपासा है, जिसको जिसको सुख का पिपासा है, मतलब flawless happiness, pure happiness, they are bound by the quality, or they are drawn by the quality of sattva guna, the guna of harmony, equilibrium, balance. Moving on to verse number 7. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tannibadhnāti kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tannibadhnāti kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Verse number 7, what does it mean? Know rajas to be of the nature of passion, giving rise to thirst and attachment. It binds fast, O son of Kunti, the embodied one, by attachment to action. You know, oftentimes we talk about the concept of workaholic who are always like they have to do something. Well, we all have had phases like that where we just want to do more and less be, right? We have to do something or the other. So these are the qualities of rajas. So we call it the rajasic quality, where it allows one to always be in a doing mode. Okay. So know rajas to be of the nature of passion, giving rise to thirst and attachment. It binds fast, O son of Kunti, the embodied one, by attachment to action. इसको कर्म के द्वारा बाधा जाते हैं. Not सिर्फ कर्म के द्वारा, कर्म के प्रति इन लोग के जो तृष्णा है उसके द्वारा इन लोगों को बाधा जाते हैं. Then what is tamas? तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत तमस्त्वज्ञान तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत. And know tamas to be born of ignorance, stupefying all embodied beings. It binds fast, O descendant of Bharata, Arjuna, by miscomprehension, indolence, and sleep. Okay, so always feeling lethargic and sleepy. So let me connect my Wi-Fi here. Okay, there you go. So this is the quality of tamasic people. Okay, and know tamas to be born of ignorance, stupefying all embodied beings. It binds fast, O descendant of Bharata, by miscomprehension, indolence, and sleep. Moving on, verse 9. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajak karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajak karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. What does it mean? Sattva attaches to happiness and rajas to action or passion, O descendant of Bharata, while tamas, verily, shrouding discrimination, attaches to miscomprehension. Means उन लोग को समझ में नहीं आते हैं कि क्या कौन है, what is what, क्या क्या है. No power of discrimination. What is Shreya and what is Priya? What is good for us and what is we are just deciding out of our mind, hankering for it. Okay, they don't have any power of discrimination. They are always deluded. That's tamas. Verse 10. Rajastamascha sattvam bhavati bharata rajasattvam tamaschaiva tamasattvam rajastatha rajastamascha sattvam bhavati bharata rajasattvam tamaschaiva tamasattvam rajastatha. Sattva arises, O descendant of Bharata, predominating over rajas and tamas. Likewise, rajas over sattva and tamas. So tamas over sattva and rajas, meaning one guna, one quality gets dominated by dominating the other two. It surpasses when it gets aggravated due to our diet, lifestyle, how we expose ourselves in this material world. Based on that, one guna aggravates and the other subsides. So when sattva aggravates, it dominates over rajas and tamas. Similarly, rajas aggravates by dominating over sattva and tamas. And tamas gets aggravated by domineering over sattva and rajas. Like that, it happens. And you might ask, how do these guna fluctuate? How do one aggravate and one pacify? Based on our choices of our diet, lifestyle, and how we expose ourselves in our daily life. Verse 11. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanai yada tada vidyad vivriddham sattvamithyuta. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanai yada tada vidyad vivriddham sattvamithyuta. When through every sense in the body the light of intelligence shines, then it should be known that sattva is predominant. Sattva guna jage hai kaise pata chalega? When we are feeling very intellectually sound and we are feeling awakened in our body, feeling light in our senses, and it feels like all the five senses, chakshu, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and our skin, they're all awakened to the best of their faculties. That's when we can know that sattva guna is predominant. लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभा लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभा. Verse number 12. What does it mean? Greed, activity, the undertaking of actions, unrest, longing, these arise when Rajas is predominant. O bull of the Bharatas. Bull, Bharatarshava. Rishabha is bull. Bharatarshava means a bull of the Bharatas is addressing to Arjuna. So greed, activity, the undertaking of actions, meaning being in an workaholic mode. Unrest, longing means bahut kuch chana. These arise when Rajas is predominant. O bull of the Bharatas. Bharatas. Now, verse 13. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe kuru nandana. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe kuru nandana. What does it mean? Darkness, inertness, miscomprehension, सब कुछ भूल समझना, and delusion, मोहग्रस्त होना. These arise when tamas is predominant. O descendant of Kuru. So you can think of the cause and effect, right? So when tamas gets predominant by incompatible choices in our diet and lifestyle and how we expose ourselves to, what we expose ourselves to, all these symptoms we can see in our daily life. Darkness means always feeling like gloomy, right? Inertness, we don't want to do anything. Torpor or laziness, right? Procrastination. Miscomprehension, कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आता, we don't understand anything. And delusion means जो सही है उसको सही नहीं समझना ताकि और दूसरा कुछ समझना, means we don't see things clearly as they are. So number 14. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदुत्तमविदान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदुत्तमविदान् लोकान् amalan pratipadyate. If the embodied one meets death when sattva is predominant, then he attains to the spotless regions of the worshippers of the highest. Very interesting verse. How our predominant condition is in our nature when we are passing away this mortal body, then that will determine what body mind system our atma will partake in the next life. So that's what exactly we just discussed about in verse 14. If the embodied one meets death when sattva guna is predominant, then he attains to the spotless regions of the worshippers of the highest, the supreme being. Verse 15. रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते. Meeting death in Rajas, he is born among those attached to action. So dying in Tamas, he is born in the wombs of the irrational, जिसको rationality कुछ आते ही नहीं है, who are always impragmatic, impractical, irrational. Whoever dies in the state of Tamas, they are born into the womb of Tamas. Number 16. कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्. कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्. कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्. One more time. कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः phalam. Verse 16. What does it mean? The fruit of good action, they say, is sattvika and pure. Verily, the fruit of rajas is pain. Means the actions that we perform based out of lust, anger, greed, envy, jealousy, they bring about or bring forth pain. And ignorance is the fruit of tamas. When we perform activities without discriminating whether it's a shreya, means conducive to us, or preya, or we are just desiring of it. Ignorance is born out of those kind of activities. Verse 17. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramadamo tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramadamo tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramadamo tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha. Meaning, from sattva arises wisdom, and from rajas greed. Miscomprehension, delusion, and ignorance arise from tamas. So Bhagavan is saying what kind of qualities arise from what kind of association. Okay, whenever there is wisdom, that power of discrimination, vichara, from that arises sattva guna. Whenever there is greed, passion, lust, envy, jealousy, arises rajas. And from miscomprehension, delusion, ignorance, these arise from tamas, tamasic guna, tamasika guna. 18. Urdhvan gacchanti sattvasthaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaghanya guna vrittisthaha adho gacchanti tamasaha. Urdhvan gacchanti sattvasthaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaghanya guna vrittisthaha adho gacchanti tamasaha. This was verse 18. The sattva abiding go upwards, the rajasika dwell in the middle, and the tamasika abiding in the function of the lowest guna go downwards. Nanyang gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtanupashyate गुणेभ्यश्च परां वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परां वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. One more time. नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परां वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. When the seer beholds no agent other than the gunas and knows that which is higher than the gunas, he attains to my being. Means, as you can see, one might feel tempted to think that, okay, so sattva guna sounds like that's the best of all the three qualities, so let's go and shoot for sattva guna. But Bhagavan is saying that if one has to attain the supreme, one has to attain the proximity of the supreme state, then one has to go beyond the three gunas, even sattva guna. Verse 20. Gunanetanatityatrain dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhaih vimukto mritamashnute. Gunanetanatityatrain dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhaih vimukto mritamashnute. The embodied one, having gone beyond these three gunas, out of which the body is evolved, is freed from birth, death, decay, and pain, and attains to amaratva, immortality. The embodied one, having gone beyond these three gunas, out of which the body is evolved, is freed from birth, death, decay, and pain, and attains to immortality. Arjuna Uvacha. Now Arjuna says for the first time, right? Kairlingais strin gunanetan atito bhavate prabho kimacharak kathan chaitam किमाचारक कथन चैतान त्रीन गुणानति वर्तते कैर्लिंगैस्त्रीन गुणानेतान अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारक कथन चैतान त्रीन गुणानति वर्तते. One more time. कैर्लिंगैस्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारक कथन चैतान् त्रीन् गुणानति वर्तते. कैर्लिंगैस्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारक कथन चैतान त्रीन गुणानति वर्तते. Arjuna said, by what marks, O Lord, is he known who has gone beyond these three gunas? Of course, an obvious question. How would we know that person, one who has gone beyond these three gunas? What is his conduct and how does he pass beyond these three gunas? कैसे जा सकते हैं? Obvious question by Arjuna. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha in verse 22. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakashancha Pravrittincha Mohameva cha Pandava Nadveshti Sampravrittani Nanivrittani Kankshati Prakashancha Pravrittincha Mohameva cha Pandava Nadveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. The blessed Lord said, he who hates not the appearance of light, the effect of sattva, he who hates not the appearance of light, activity, the effect of rajas, and delusion, the effect of tamas, in his own mind, O Pandava, nor longs for them when absent. जिसको द्वेष भी नहीं है और जो चाहते भी नहीं है, मीन्स अनवेवरिंग. अनवेवरिंग मीन्स अचल. ये सारे के सारे जो गुण जो है उसका इफेक्ट में जो अचल रहते हैं तो उसको गुणातीत कहते हैं, राइट? दे आर कॉल्ड एज गुणातीत, वन हु हैज गॉन बियॉन्ड द इफेक्ट ऑफ थ्री गुणास. नंबर 23, उदासीन वदासीनः गुणैर्यो न च विचाल्यते. उदासीन वदासीनः गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते. गुणावर्तन्त इत्येव योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. उदासीन वदासीनः गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते. गुणावर्तन्त इत्येव योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. He who, sitting like one unconcerned, is moved not by the gunas, who, knowing that the gunas operate, is self-centered and swerves not. जैसे कि मैंने बोला, like I said, one who is unwavering. So Bhagavan keeps on saying the qualities of someone who is known as Guṇatīta, means one who has gone beyond the three qualities. Verse 24. Samadukha swastaha samaloshtāshma kañcanaha tulya priya priyodhiraha tulya nindatma samstutihi. Samadukha swastaha samaloshtāshma kañcanaha tulya priya priyodhiraha tulya nindatma samstutihi. Samadukha swastaha samaloshtāshma kañcanaha tulya priya priyodhiraha tulya nindatma samstutihi. Alike in pleasure and pain, self-abiding regarding a clod of earth, a stone and gold alike, the same to agreeable and disagreeable, firm, the same in censure and praise, जिसको निंदा प्रशंसा, एक मिट्टी का लंप और सोना, जिसको कुछ अच्छा चीज हुआ कि बुरा चीज हुआ उनके साथ, जिसका कोई कुछ इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ता है, जैसे कि भगवान शिव जी जो है, अगर उनके क्वालिटीज देखिए, he doesn't care whether he is praised or whether he is cursed, अपने ध्यान में मग्न रहते हैं. ध्यान एक बार भंग हो जाए, so that's अलग thing. If his meditation gets distracted, then it's a different thing. But to have the quality of unwavering, जिसको कुछ से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, one who is not affected by good news or a bad news, praise or an insult, nothing. Bhagavan is explaining the qualities of a Guṇatīta, one who has gone beyond these three gunas. 25, verse 25. Mānāpamānayostulyah tulyo mitrāripakṣayoh sarvārambha parityāgi guṇātītasya uccyate. Mānāpamānayostulyah tulyo mitrāripakṣayoh sarvārambha parityāgi guṇātītasya uccyate. Mānāpamānayostulyah tulyo mitrāripakṣayoh sarvārambha parityāgi guṇātītasya uccyate. One more time. Mānāpamānayostulyah tulyo mitrari pakshayoho sarvarambha parityagi gunatitasya uchyate. Bhagavan is defining what who is called Gunatita. He has been defining in the last few verses, right? So in verse 25, Bhagavan says, the same in honor and disgrace, जिसको मान देने और अपमान करने में, the same to friend and foe, who is equal to शत्रु या मित्र, relinquishing all undertakings, जिसको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, जो सब कुछ छोड़ सकते हैं. He is said to have gone beyond the gunas. He is said to have gone beyond the gunas. The same in honor and disgrace, the same to friend and foe, relinquishing all undertakings. He is said to have gone beyond the gunas. Okay? So that was 25. Just talked about 25. Now, the last two verses of this chapter. Mancha vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Mancha vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. 26 means, and he who serves me with unswavering devotion, he going beyond the gunas is fitted for becoming Brahman. And he who serves me with unswerving devotion, he going beyond the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, is fitted for becoming Brahman. The very last verse. Brahmano hi pratisthaham mritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ikantikasya cha. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ikantikasya cha. For I am the abode of Brahman, Bhagavan is saying. The immortal and immutable means that does not change, of everlasting dharma and of absolute bliss. For I am the abode of Brahman, the immortal and immutable, of everlasting dharma and of absolute bliss. Bhagavan is saying. We will finish off this chapter with this verse that we chant after every verse. Om Tatsaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ Nama Chaturdashodhyayah. Om Tatsaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ Nama Chaturdashodhyayah. Thus concludes the chapter 14, which is called Guṇatrayavibhāgayogaḥ, the classification of three types of guna, the characteristics of anything that exists in this material world: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. I have a video where I have talked about Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas in terms of our diet and lifestyle also. So in the description below, I will post that link after this live session is ended. And you will also find some resourceful links, including the lyrics of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all the 18 chapters, freely available in the web resources. You will also find some book suggestions in the list, in the resource link that I will be pasting in the description below. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion, for being a part of this journey so far. And I really appreciate your presence and your participation and supporting these efforts. Please do let me know in the comment section if you have any particular chant or any particular scripture, any particular book studies, mantras that you would like to listen from my end, I would love to bring it for our community. And please do share this video with your loved and dear ones so that they also become a part of this timeless wisdom from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and other resources that I share in my channel. With that, I will bring this session to a close, the live session to a close. This video will be posted for your later review in my channel. Please take a look. And if you haven't done it so yet, do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification icon so that you stay updated about all the new videos, new live sessions, and all the new wonderful, resourceful uploads that I make available to my channel, and you get notified first about all of those. Thank you. Hari Om Tat Sat. ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Hari Om Tat Sat. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. See you in another session very soon.